I'm going to assume by that tone that this is Brothers, Sisters, Gender Resistors, another episode of the Comic Book Rundown presents Rundown Reviews, brought to you by Casual and or whatever. I don't know. Peek behind the curtain. Joey and I have now recorded 3 days in a week, and we have one more to do. And
damn, boys,
it's one of those Wednesday night late night recordings. So I'm tired.
Yeah.
No, anyway.
So, talking about before, like both Ron and I, before we got on here, we were like, we're both tired. I don't really have an excuse. I've been lazing around the house all day. Well, I went and saw Maxine in theaters, but other than that, like I've been lazy all week. Ron's been working, so like I can understand him being tired.
I mean, I was working today. It's also I'm still under,
but you were also
under
working.
like, yeah, we're also under heat wave, so everything's like 3 times fucking harder.
That's
the heat and humidity is just so fucking bad right now.
Ours broke today. It's actually gorgeous out. There's a breeze that's just like, I mean, it was literally
rain yesterday.
Yeah, but the
rain yesterday kind of helped it.
The nice cold breeze today is a saving grace, because otherwise I'd just be a nasty sweaty mess right now too. So
gross. Yeah. Well, we actually are under a tornado watch and a severe thunderstorm warning, so my internet may go out at any point. But anyway, we watched. So we have officially gotten into the part of welcome to we're only watching indie comic. I get indie comic. So we're classified.
Other with the bracket I called it. Indie, whatever. Yes, we're watching basically things that are not DC animated for right now. We're probably gonna be doing this for maybe a year.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know.
We got a lot of catching up to do to get them on the same wavelength.
Basically, get them all into the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more importantly, what we're about to watch are all like good movies. Like if you look statistically at our list, a lot of these movies ranked better than most of the actual Marvel and DC movies,
which is fair. Yeah,
yeah.
Well,
because
again,
these are
we haven't gotten into like
good movies.
They are, but they were also movies that were. So like this one, Alien from 1979. It wasn't a comic book movie to begin with. This was just a new IP that I think it was James Cameron, was like, hey, I'm going to put that. Was it Cameron? No. Yes?
Yeah.
Whatever. Whoever it was.
Sure.
He's like, I'm gonna make this movie. And it was a nice, amazing action movie for 1979. Like we got Terminator on the list.
Wait a minute.
Predator on the list. Like we're going to get good movies.
Hold on. This is not an action movie.
Yes.
This is a horror movie.
This is a horror movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Although I did say I did not get to see one horror in this movie.
Well, thank you, Ron.
I'm pretty sure the cat was a horror.
Wow, that's rude.
That is rude. Jones was actually the reason why people knew the alien was where it was at if they would have just paid fucking attention.
Yeah, I was under the impression that
everybody almost killed.
I was under the impression that the cat, like that was a giveaway for the cat. Like apparently I'm now learning that not a lot of people realize that. That like the whole point of the cat was to tell the watcher where the thing was. I don't know. Anyway. It's a MacGuffin? Is it a MacGuffin? Wrong. A red herring? What's the literary term?
Red herring is like the wrong
thing.
Where they lead you astray so you believe something that's not actually what it was.
Right.
It's to keep you from...
It's not a MacGuffin. A MacGuffin's just a thing that they put in for the sake of putting it in.
Yeah, it's. I think this was supposed to be like foreshadowing.
Like what?
I said shout out to Ron's penis.
Oh well.
It's a MacGuffin.
Yep.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah.
Okay, so quick question, because this is my first time actually watching the movie.
Really?
I've seen parts here or there. This movie has been parodied left and right, so I've seen a bunch of TV shows and movies that have parodied this movie, but I've
Spaceballs.
never actually seen this movie start to finish. Spaceballs is one of them.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby.
Family
Hey,
Guy and
I have
American Dad.
I have seen
Oh, yeah.
parts of this movie. I thought I had seen the whole movie, but I had not seen the whole movie until I watched it recently for the show.
Yeah. Have you seen this movie before, Chuck?
I have seen this one. So my I have a staunch history with this movie. I had never
Okay.
seen this movie until lockdown. And I have a lot of friends that like this is their favorite movie of all time. This is ranked number 1 favorite movie of all time.
Chuck's got
I
some
think-
weird ass friends.
Well,
Mm.
they're all
We know
they're
that.
all goth girls, dude. Like
Oh,
they're
hot.
sci-fi. Yeah, exactly.
Hot.
So of course, this movie in particular, like I don't think that it's not justified, but I do think that it is a product that it's like Star Wars. If you watched it when you were a kid, then it's totally makes sense that it's your favorite movie. But if you watch it as an adult, I
So-
think it's just a good movie.
Speaking of watching it as a kid, I remember Sigourney Weaver being in her panties a whole lot more than the 10 seconds we got in the
Yeah.
film.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I remember that too.
maybe that's because like every promotional
Mhm.
video or every promotional
Because that was
still
the important part to
was
me as a
that.
kid. Oh, wait.
Well, yeah.
Does she get half naked in Aliens too?
Don't know. Never watched it.
Maybe.
Oh, you've never seen Aliens?
So the only Alien franchise movie I've ever seen is
Yeah.
I've seen Resurrection, but I was
AVP?
like 14 or 15 at the time, and
Uh,
I've seen both Alien vs Predator movies.
Okay.
And obviously those are separate; those are a whole different thing.
are
Like
they?
I don't remember
Do they?
Resurrection.
They're not
at all.
canon to either of the universes, right? They're their own thing.
Yeah, yes and no. Like
yeah. Okay.
I don't remember. Let's put it that
Right.
way. I
Sure,
don't really
sure.
remember.
Okay. So I watched this during during COVID lockdown, and I remember thinking that I was going into it like very like defensively and resentful because everybody I knew was just like, "Yo, have you never seen it? It's like the best movie ever." And usually when people tell me that, it doesn't usually live up to the hype.
Knocked it
Yeah,
down a
like-
little bit for you. Yeah.
Way down for him. I'm just like, yeah, I'm sure it fucking is because famously Monty Python Holy Grail was like ruined for me because everybody told me all the funny parts in it. So when I finally sat down to
Aw.
watch it, it wasn't funny to me anymore. And I
See, I was
and
the
then
complete opposite. Was when everybody told me about the
No.
movie and all the scenes, I still loved it. But anyway,
no, it wasn't because the delivery of like because everybody always laughs so hard telling me the jokes, and then I get there, I'm just like, oh, this isn't that funny. Anyway, but I went into this movie the first time kind of not expecting to like it. I very much like this movie, though there are a few things where I just go, oh, this like kind of ruined it for me a little bit, like broke the like the kayfabe for me on it. Oh, Ron's gone.
yeah, we lost Ron.
But overall, it might be a normal, nice episode. But yeah, shout out to oh, he's back. Great.
So walked in
shout
multiverse.
out-
Yeah.
yeah,
That was
Walks
weird.
in Multiverse. Anyway, rewatching it the second time, which was just very recently, I very much the same that you guys did. There are parts in this movie that I don't remember seeing in the first one. Things like like the one that got me where I finally realized I needed to pay attention when they are coming up onto the crashed ship and they're like exploring and they're outside. There's an alien that goes across the back. I never noticed that. He crawls up over the
Really?
rocks. Yeah, the background. And I
Oh,
never noticed that
interesting.
the first time I watched it. So then I was like, oh, maybe I should actually like give this movie my attention because there is stuff that I'm not recognizing in it. Some plot hole stuff that we'll get into that I'm just like, this doesn't make sense totally. But otherwise, overall, like, yeah, I maybe this I think my score will reflect it, but like, yeah, this movie kind of lived up to the hype for the most part.
Yeah, it's a very enjoyable movie. I think I was talking about this either with maybe with you, Chuck, maybe with somebody else. But for a first movie of a franchise for its time. It knocked it out of the park. Like in 1979, this would have been a great movie. In 2024, our standards have changed a little bit. Storytelling is better. Because one thing that I definitely found that I did not like in this was a lot of the dialogue and the delivery of the dialogue.
The delivery of the dialogue in a lot of this was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but that being said, though, I know what this movie means to a lot of people. And I'm not saying that that is going to reflect on how I scored it, but I still was coming at it and I still enjoyed this movie. There's still some problems with it, though.
Yeah.
But then again, like you just said, we have all three watched this for the first time in 4 years. That too. But like this is for the three of us who did not see this movie until 2020 and 2024 respectively. This movie's fine. I've heard this movie is one of those movies that is really good, but the second one, Aliens, is like superior in so many ways.
It is a great action adventure movie. It's a great action adventure movie. It is not a horror movie, which is the argument that stemmed from me watching this to watching Aliens, because a lot of people will say like, "Oh, Aliens really good. It's my favorite movie." Oh, but Aliens is like 1,000 times better. And then everybody was like, "Yeah, it's a horror." I was like, "This is not a horror movie." We'll get into it when we get into Aliens, but this actually does a really good job of actually capturing all of the elements that make a horror movie a horror movie.
Yes, this was a really good horror movie,
except for being scary.
See, there was one. Yes, there was one part that I actually got a jump scare for. It was when, not McCready, because he's not Kurt Russell. The one guy, the
Dallas
Taggart, huh? The Dallas, yes, he is searching through the vents, and he turns the light, and there is the alien. I mean, we gotta call him an alien because I think next movie is when we realize that there's xenomorphs, but aliens in this movie, and like he turns the camera, and there he is, and he scares him. Like that was a good jump scare,
dude.
I actually jumped at that.
So they're little.
What was going to happen, but I still jumped at it.
They're little sensor machine for those things that only works in 5 meters. So basically, you've got a 15-foot range on this thing, and he couldn't tell what direction it was coming from. Like
he didn't have it though; they did.
Exactly, she had it, and she was telling him, like
it's right above you. She just kept screaming, "It's right above you!
Yeah,
it's right in front of you!"
Yeah, and like she was like, she had no idea what she was doing. She should have never had a hold of that machine.
She was the worst.
She really was terrible.
Like, she was really,
I wasn't sad when she died.
No, she's like which both those death scenes are just like, oh, did we run out of money? Is that what's happening in this? This is awkward and weird. I think to kind of comment off what Joey said, or what Ron said about the fact that it's not really scary, I think it's a different type of horror. I think it's the uncomfortableness, not the traditional like jump scare, we're out to get you. It's we don't know where this thing is. We don't actually know what it looks like and what it's doing. There's some body horror in here, obviously, with the face hugger. Is that what the thing's called?
Yeah,
face hugger, and then the
bursting out of his chest,
and all that stuff, and like it's the slow burn horror aspect, not the jump scare aspect.
Speaking of the chest burster, right? So I never realized when they're on the ship, the crashed ship originally, that big thing, that creature, which they just like are not even impressed with this massive like humanoid-esque creature that's sitting on the ship, right?
This alien being that
but the eggs are where they're at, But it's got that big hole in its chest where one of them had ripped out of it.
Yeah, but in their eyes, that could have been like.
No. I'm just saying, I never realized that when I first watched, because I don't remember seeing that in the first time I watched through. Well, the parts of it I watched through. But also, how are they not how are they not impressed by that huge ass alien sitting in this?
Yeah.
Essentially an ancient species from, like, if you don't know the rest of the series is right, and what it all, as it has progressed and they built the lore around, if you just look at it in a capsule of like this movie, this is like an ancient alien like race of some sort that were all giants.
Yeah.
I almost wondered if it was just like the thing wasn't actually a giant, they had just shot it really weird to make it look it bigger than it was, but to them it was like normal sized or something.
No, because when they're standing right next to it, like, it's massive.
Right. I didn't know if it was just like more of a director fuck up. Yeah, camera.
Gotcha.
Like they're in the foreground, the creature in the background. So they look, actually they'd be in the background, creature in the foreground to make it look bigger. Yeah.
Right. Like if they had just thought about that or something.
I mean, the really nice thing is that majority of the film is practical effects, which definitely helps the film.
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
Well, we'll get there.
There's some digital, but
no, there's some digital effects that look fucking terrible in this movie.
The puppet,
well, yes,
the puppet for the chest burster was freaking ridiculous. They did a better job in Spaceballs than they did in this.
This thing busts out of his chest, is now like a 1.5 feet long coming out of his chest, and is like slowly turning and just like, hello everyone.
Also, who did his grill work? Because he's got silver teeth in there. Like, he's like, dog.
I think they all had. Doesn't it have silver teeth again?
When it's an adult. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Where did they get their? Yeah, where'd they get their grill work done?
That's a good question, actually. Is it organic metal? I don't know. But it's also got acid blood. I want to talk about acid blood real quick. Acid blood's fucking dope. And I don't really know how we as humans can have it unless I just keep drinking copious amounts of Coca-Cola. But it's an interesting thing, but I feel like they spent way too much time in the movie to then it not really come back to do anything.
Yeah,
they kept mentioning in it like, oh, they can't because they're going to try and cut off the face hugger on John Hurt's character Kane,
right?
And it's like, well, the acid blood, like that could be problematic, and
yeah, and then it eats through, but stops like before it gets to Hull or whatever. But then, if that's the case, then like I don't know. I feel like anything that they would like when she shot it at the end, when it's like in the doorway or whatever, and she hits it with the harpoon gun.
Yeah,
like
the wire would have like melted away.
Yeah, exactly.
Melted away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point. It should. Well, was the theory that she was freezing it? Is that what the smoke was about? The steam mist was actually freeze.
Oh,
I have questions about that whole last scene anyway, because I'm kind of confused about it.
Well, so what really confused me was, she does self-destruct, and then she goes to stop it. Why did she go to stop it?
Because she didn't think she was going to get out on time because it was between her and her landing ship.
Yeah.
Like, it was between her and the shuttle, and instead of, making sure that this thing dies to, make sure it doesn't spread to anywhere else, she was like, oh, I've got to save my own ass for the sequel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I don't even know why she was worried about it. She wasn't going to get paid. It was made very clear that she needed to bring any specimen or anything back, or they weren't going to get paid. It's part of the contract. It says
they blew up.
If there's ever a distress call, they have to go check on it, or they don't get paid.
Which is insane. But also, what's with Ian Holmes and playing characters that have an obsession with supreme beings?
Yeah.
That's a shout out to Fifth Element there, Chuck, in case you
Oh, I knew.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah. I actually just watched Fifth Element with my mom for the first time the other day.
Nice.
Her exact words are, "What the fuck are we watching?"
Oh,
And I was like,
a good movie.
"Mom, it's Fifth Element." She goes, I don't like Chris Tucker in this movie," and it's like,
he is
all
a
right.
bit annoying, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
anyway.
over time,
but also, so when what's her face won't get out of the way of the alien, and Parker is trying to burn it,
Yeah,
right?
just at that point,
why
burn
did
the
he not
fucker.
just light them both on fire?
Yeah,
Right. But not only that, so what does he do instead? He tries to tackle it.
because that makes sense.
He
Yeah,
tries
oh
to
yeah.
tackle it and then is screaming at her to get out of the room, and she's just like, "No, Parker, I'm so sorry, I can't." Why? Why? Why?
Because she
can't
was
you?
useless.
Because now his tail is slowly going up into your cooter? Like, what is going on? I don't understand. You
I
are
didn't
a
realize we got
dumb
hentai in
woman.
this movie.
Trying to make babies the old way. Oh.
Apparently. There's more
Dude,
than one.
speaking of old ways, everybody is smoking inside this enclosed ship.
What's up
Like-
with that? I
Oh,
don't
it's
get me
fine.
wrong,
It
I
goes through
understand
the
smoking's
circulators.
fine, but okay.
Oh my god. What's the movie where they reference smoking in space? Is it Thank You for Smoking? It has to be Thank You for Smoking. Where they're just like, oh, well, because they were like, you can't smoke in a space station. It's all pure oxygen. They're like, oh, we'll just say, oh, thank God that blah 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 has oxygen free cigarettes now, or something stupid like that. Like they're like, oh yeah, we just write a line into the movie. Like that's what I was watching. I go, oh, they must have written a line into the movie and then forgot to say it. Okay, that makes sense.
But also, speaking of old things, so when they go out of the ship and they've got like their body cams or whatever, why in 2035, when they are in space and they are able to go to other planets and all things, did they think that the body cam footage would be on the level of like 1970s VHS?
Because when they left, it was
Yeah.
1975. Remember, they were in cryo freeze for a while, sleeping.
Maybe.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
And
ship,
these
though, like,
motherfucking mouth breathers fogging up their visors every time they're in those suits. Jesus Christ! Like,
that's just bad pressure. Like.
Well, no,
pressure,
I mean,
right?
I think it was just bad props. But
that too.
But every single one of them, it's like, oh yes, let's go explore this ship.
And they, if I'm not mistaken, that is those were actually like old spacesuits. Isn't that like the whole thing? Is that they were actually using like old?
Oh, I have no idea.
It's possible.
That's what I was told. So that would make sense.
I was gonna look up. I started looking at some of the IMDb, but there was like so much that I'm just like, I don't care.
Because I think the whole thing is like the suit is sealed, but there's no actual like they're not actually pumping oxygen into it like they normally would.
Yeah,
yeah,
that would make sense.
So they're just walking around breathing in their carbon dioxide. It's really funny. No wonder.
Oof. That's not great. But speaking of the ship, though, like the fact that the ship could fly through space, no problem. But the minute it lands on the planet, it breaks and almost gets destroyed.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
After it was like it kind of had already landed. Like that's the other thing is like
right.
It's practically landed, and then all of a sudden the thrusters like just fucking black blast. And what are we doing? Like
they have the slowest moving spaceships ever.
Yeah.
Like even when it's coming into Earth's atmosphere, it's like, or into the planet's atmosphere, it's like, and they still managed to crash the motherfucker.
I will give Ripley props because she was the only smart one. You know, when they come back with Kane being like,
and she's
hey,
like, no, keep him outside. Yeah.
24 hours protocol. Like, screw you. Sorry. But of course, Ash being super weird. Was
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Droid,
obviously,
Android.
He had his own agenda. Yeah.
That also felt,
I don't know,
weird.
Why is the ship called Mother?
Because
I believe they explain it's an acronym for something. They explain it in later movies, I think.
Oh, okay.
Possible.
Yeah. Or maybe it's
in here it was just
like a motherboard. You know what I mean? Like I don't. The ship itself is not called Mother. It's the program is called Mother.
Yeah,
the
sure.
ship
That's
is called
running everything.
Nostro.
Also,
or
what's the
something like that.
point of having Mother in a secure area
If anybody can just access it?
if everybody knows
Well,
how to get
especially
into it?
when Ash just pops up in there, like the door doesn't open. He wasn't in there when she went in there,
Nope.
and then boom, he's there.
Yeah, that
Listen,
was a.
I don't really I get the point of his character to an extent, because like they have to have the plot device of why they actually got sent there, because it can't just be this like random thing, right? It was actually they were sent there to go like investigate.
They knew, they knew it was there.
Right.
The company knew it was there.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't get why he had to be a robot.
Yeah,
Probably so that because he was programmed to do the directive regardless. Maybe?
because if he was a human and he saw the directive to kill other humans,
he might have been like, "No, I ain't gonna do that." Yeah.
yeah. Because what happens if he started boning Sigourney Weaver like mid-flight, and then he was like, "Man, I know I'm supposed to kill these guys, but like, maybe by movie 2 she'll have a butt."
But like, he's a robot. He's not supposed to kill.
But
that's the iRobot rules.
No, that's
we're gonna be seeing Terminator soon. We know Terminators kill.
Yeah, that's true.
So
whatever.
Also, this whole crew, like, I don't know how long they were together, but they are all assholes to each other. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I get being around the same 9 people would drive you crazy, but they are just straight up like dickheads.
Oh,
to each other.
mean, okay.
And when they and when they are,
am I the only one who just talks to my friends like that? Fuck. All right, maybe I'm an asshole. I'm learning something today. All right, cool.
and when they're sitting around the table after Kane gets the chest burster out of him, or before he gets the chest burster, but after the facehugger comes off of him, they are literally not saying anything intelligible until like 3 seconds before the chest burster thing pops out of him.
Yeah, they're just saying a bunch of random words. It was really weird. Well, not really random words. They were saying like random sentences and all. But
Hi, Chuck's mom.
I mean, I was gonna. Okay.
Sorry.
We said hi to your mom, but she didn't say hi back.
No, she couldn't hear you guys.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I saw the door slowly opening, and I figured it was the cat or something, and then I just see
But
my
it was
mom
actually a
peering
xenomorph.
in at me, and I about fucking came out of my goddamn skin. It was a good thing I was muted, because I believe I yelled several obscenities. Head over to the YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel to watch a genuine live reaction of me removing my skin via terror. Anyway, what were we talking about? Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. So okay, we get the alien, we get the chest burster. He's like we said earlier, 2 feet tall,
and then he grows to fucking 6 feet in like 5 minutes.
So quickly, like how? Why?
So, but I think the theory is that they rapidly age because they don't have a long lifespan.
Okay.
It is, and I'm only saying this
also
from gathering, because like by the end of the movie, it's like it's dying on like when it's on the like escape shuttle, and it's
I just thought it was being sneaky, and it's like she's never gonna see me in here.
No, because she does, like, it does see her, and she like runs and hides, and it's just like laying there, like it's
chase after.
Yeah. So I was under the impression, I always wondered if the second mouth was actually like you know how like when flies die or whatever, they like fucking something crawls out of them or whatever. I wonder if it was like that. I don't know. That's what I was told, that when flies die, otherwise grow.
Maybe the big suit is actually just a mech, and
maybe.
And the little mouth is actually
there's a smaller little guy inside.
Yeah.
Who's trying to find the Orion? Okay.
So here's a real question though. Why is the whole fucking ship wet? Why is the ship wet?
We get the scene where I can't remember what his name. Oh, Brett is chasing after Jonesy, and he comes across this area where there's just water pouring down randomly. You're in the middle of a ship. Why is that like that? That should not be like that.
It's where the toilets dump out.
It's the AC. It's the AC.
It's the AC.
You gotta call HVAC. The AC's dripping.
I
I want to know why the alien is always wet. Why is he covered in slime constantly?
Maybe that's part of its like dying body, like because its blood is acid.
Secreting. Yeah,
It's just secretions.
Yeah,
that is the most horrific thing.
Also,
like, when you talk about horror,
why do bad guys always drink milk?
Why do bad guys always have
milk?
milk for blood?
I mean, I'm sure it was milk, but was it? Could it have been like some sort of liquid to help keep him,
like
running?
cyborged or androided or whatever the hell he is?
Yeah, that's what I assume, because
sure, but
the same shit that's leaking out of his body when they bust his head off.
Yeah.
Oh man! And then when they hook his head back up, that was some mighty fine special. Practical effects right there. Let me tell you,
they couldn't get it to sit. They were like kept it playing in like one, and then two, and then three, and then magically all of a sudden it's just like sitting flat. Yeah,
well,
I was like, you guys couldn't have shot that a little better.
Also,
no? Okay.
I think he was actually full of cum.
Everybody's just been fucking him the whole time.
Yep.
they actually all knew he was an android.
He's actually the 2035 version of a fleshlight.
Yeah. Listen, I was promised 10 years ago that sex with robots would be here and alive and better than having sex with a human, and I would never need another partner. So that was a lie, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know who told you that, but they didn't have your best interests at heart.
I think they did.
So, why do they keep splitting the party up?
Yep, I have that in my notes too. They split the party, never split the party, and they do it like
and they do it.
Times.
It's like, okay, we split the party, and then we split the party of the party that we split, which is how the
Brett died, which is how the captain died. Dallas, which is then how Parker and Lambert died. Like,
yeah, and it's hitting more horror tropes.
When you but in 2035 they should have seen all the horror movies and known better than this.
No, I don't think they were led to watch horror movies. That's the whole thing. They are only supposed to go investigate secretly alien monsters things. Okay. There is no horror, only work. The true horror.
I mean, yeah, that is a true horror. I've got written down here when Ripley's going back after the self-destruct. She failed to stop that, which was only 3 minutes long and not 5.
It's a movie. It's a movie. 5 minutes.
Sure.
But didn't they also say it was like 10 minutes? We got 10 minutes to get out of here.
It's 10 minutes till it
only
explodes.
7. But like, I like it when the movies actually have the timeline up, and I was really disappointed that this didn't line up with times. But regardless, she's heading back to the pod, and all the lights are flashing. They still could have done it.
No,
but they basically it's just this scene is a giant seizure-inducing scene with the lights flashing as they were.
You can tell that like there are no actual protocols. Animals were getting hurt in this movie. We don't have to use like seizure-safe lighting. Yeah,
was Jonesy in the pod with everybody else, or was it just kind of roaming around before, like in the very beginning?
I assume he was just wherever. He's just like a normal cat. He could went wherever the hell he wanted to. You know,
the cat would have been dead.
They
were in states nothing for like ever. Yeah, I think he was in with her. I think
maybe they're space rats.
I did kind of wonder that. I was like, I wonder if they have like cockroaches and rats.
Well, like I mean, it's like you're supposed to take a cat aboard the ship with you because they eat all the vermin, and maybe that's what they do in space too, in case you get space vermin.
It's true, but then you need a monkey to keep the cat in. And then you need a bird to keep the monkey in line.
Look, dude, I don't even know why they swallowed the fly, okay?
Perhaps they'll die.
And then you need a gun to keep everybody in line.
Yeah.
See, that's all they needed was just a gun.
That's true.
But they did have a fancy flamethrower that sort of worked-ish, kind of.
Did it? Did it? Other than melting a robot face? Did it work?
Melted ash. That's about it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. Yeah, that's really all I got for notes.
I like this.
The only other note that I have is, so they get this transmission, right? And instead of going through and trying to figure out what the transmission is, like the encryption for the transmission is, like Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley, is like, did you guys run it through the thing? And they're like, yeah, but they haven't come up with anything. She's like, oh, I want to take a look at it. And then 10 seconds later, she's like, I think this is some kind of warning.
But Ash was the one that told her that we ran it through and nothing came back.
True.
Ash being the one
But
who's like, we need to go here because that's my directive.
Right? But at the same time, like, how does the captain not be like, okay, let's figure out what this transmission is? Because if it's an SOS, we should go check it out. If it's hey, this thing's going to eat your face and fuck your friend through his mouth and then pop a baby out of him through his chest, like,
yeah,
I mean,
been a little more diligent. Well, he wasn't really a great captain. Let's be honest.
That's true. That is very true.
I also have to stop and ask, why did they send this particular crew?
That's a great question. Maybe
I was
they
under the
weren't.
impression that they were like mining facilities.
Maybe they were bad at their jobs, so they were expendable.
Well, the Parker and Brett kept complaining that they weren't getting paid enough. So
there you go.
The way to that off them.
Got to get rid of those union guys. Got to get the union busters in there.
This is a Union Busters movie.
Xenomorphs are union busters.
I just watched the Union busting. That's hilarious.
Hold on a second. I got to write down a note.
Okay. Oh, dude.
Give me a xenomorph in like a
gotta be a 3-piece suit.
No, like a Target suit that says like manager alien, and it's just like, they're just gonna take all of your money and then everybody will be unhappy here. You get paid less than what you're getting paid now. You know what you could do with that $700 a year that you would pay in dues? You could buy a Wii. That was a thing. That was a thing that they told us when I worked at TJ. When I worked at TJ Maxx, they were trying to stop us from they didn't want anybody to unionize, and they told us how expensive it would be for us, and that we could because the Wii U was just coming out or something. Like the amount of money that you could. Oh my God, you are doing it.
Okay,
it's a thing. Okay, with the amount of money that we would spend yearly on union dues. We could buy a Wii U and play video games instead.
Yeah, when I worked at Walmart, they were like, well, you know what happened to the one Walmart store that started a union, right? They just closed it down and everybody lost their jobs. Do you guys want to be responsible for everybody here losing their jobs?
Yeah, that's another one I hear all the time.
I remember hearing that when I worked at Peyton's, that they would just close up and move to south of the border.
Which very, very realistically, statistically has never happened. It happened one time, historically. So, yeah, unionize.
I mean,
everybody unionize. Do it.
100% unionize.
Everybody unionize.
Yeah, I miss being in the union. I was a team.
I work for a union as much as it sucks sometimes, but it's still good. I mean,
when unions are good, they're great. When unions aren't good, it is a fucking slog. But
yes,
when unions are, when you have good shop stewards and good reps, man, fucking unions are the fucking best.
Yeah.
Solidarity.
Woo.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I think that's everything.
I think we're up to the kill count, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be a total of 7. 7. Yep.
I mean, okay.
We had 8 people. There was 9.
I was going to say.
No. There were only 7 people, a cat, and a xenomorph.
So that's 9.
But you said 9 people.
Things. I changed it to living things. Calm down.
Listen, if droids and clones count, then aliens and cats count now too.
No, hey, they count as living things, but they weren't people. He specifically said people.
I said we had 7 people, and then I said we had 9 living things.
No, we didn't have 7 people. We had 6 people, an android,
a robot,
a cat, and a xenomorph.
Whatever.
But droids count now, so whatever.
We counted as a kill, so yeah, it counts.
Can somebody explain to me what was inside of him? Or the
cum,
jizz. It was cum.
I know,
yeah.
But when you look at like the rest of the inside of him, like
There's
where his
some
body
bubbles
cavity
or
was,
something. Like,
yeah, I didn't
don't-
understand what
It
I was
boba.
looking at.
He just he drank a lot of
Was it
boba and
boba
just
tea?
never digested it properly.
He just physically can't. It doesn't break down.
Actually, so
This
on
is
the
what you're
front of
putting
him,
in your body.
after you fill him with your fluids, you spin the front of him, and it's one of those little cranks that pops up the little balls that have the little toys in them.
Oh, oh yeah. Yep. Vending machine, little vending toy
Yeah.
machine thing. Oh, alrighty. Ron, bingo.
We had product placement, hero kills, government interference, unexplainable science, betrayal by a friend, animal cruelty, fight for control of something, product placement, and misogyny.
You said
What
product
was-
placement twice.
What was
Oh,
the
yes,
product
I sure did.
placement?
Her shoes.
They're Nikes, some weren't they?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not a foot guy, so I wasn't looking. That makes sense.
They were the only shoes in the movie that were like actual like I think they were Reeboks or something like
Or
that.
whatever. Yeah.
But everybody else had on like normal footwear, and then Ripley had on like
Well, she has to
You-
stand out.
Just saying. Ron
Anyway.
proving more and more that he's a foot guy. Okay. Anyway,
Chuck, Spawn Cape.
Spawn Cape Continuum. Okay, so like the practical effects are like 85% really good. A lot of the stuff looks really, really good. I fall off with a lot of the stuff with the alien when they have to show the full body. Like
it's a
when
dude in a costume.
yeah, well, and like more importantly, when it's not
yeah.
a dude in a costume and it's like a fake body flopping in the costume.
When it's three
there-
raccoons in a trench coat.
There was one
Yeah.
scene. Yes, but there was one scene. I think after the alien threw Parker somewhere, it turned around to Lambert, and that looked terrible because it was just all stiff. It was just like,
Atrocious.
oh.
It's like, oh wow, you cannot move in that suit at all.
No.
Weirdly enough, the one that got me originally, where it was like, oh, this kind of like broke the magic for me when I watched it the first time, is after she harpoons it and then closes the door and it's just like swinging outside. I remember it looking so stiff that it was like it looked like an action figure on a string, like that they were like floating it. Watching it this time around, but watching it this time around, it moved like a rubber body. Like it was like 2002 Blade all over again, and it was just like a rubber body flopping around. So I don't know if that was just a different cut, but I think I watched this both times on Hulu, so I don't know. I'm gonna say
Which I don't know if Hulu was director's cut or not, but
I don't think so. He didn't say it, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 5 out of 27 Spawn Capes.
okay.
It was pretty good for the most part. I'm willing to look past rubber because it is 1979. There's just so much
True.
that they can do. So
Very true.
but
And-
the
and
set,
I
I mean,
think a
all the
couple
sets
years-
looked awesome. I thought.
Yes, that's looked great. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really
Other than being
sad.
wet for no reason, yeah, they all look pretty
Yeah.
good. So we did have a boob count
Hey,
of 0.5 because of the pictures on the wall were naked women in Ash's little
That's true.
corner that he tried to whatever Ripley in.
Yeah.
oh yeah, rolled up a magazine and then shoved it into her mouth.
Didn't even like because
Didn't
of how
even call her
big
a
that
good
thing
girl
was,
or
it was,
anything. Like,
How?
It was
Yeah,
like
Joe, you
all
want
over
to
the
show us
lips.
again one more time?
yeah, could you show us that again?
Yeah, head
I
over to
realized what I
YouTube. Joey's
did.
going to demonstrate real quick how it works.
Joey's over here like, man, I got to learn how to edit a video real quick. Everybody's gonna know about my skills.
I edited the rundown rankings, so I can easily edit this, I think. But no, like the magazine itself was too wide to get into her mouth, but she was choking on it.
Hey, listen, sometimes when it's too wide to get in their mouth, they can still choke on it.
That's true. Because it like pushes your tongue, like you choke on your tongue. That's what I always assume. But he had it so like stiff. Why didn't he just hold it against her throat?
Or
And,
why
like,
didn't he
that's what I
just
thought
like
he was
snap her
gonna do.
neck?
Yeah, that's what I
Or
thought he was gonna do. Why didn't he snap her neck? Exactly. He is physically like terrifyingly strong because he's a robot. He like fucking purple nurples Parker and like about ripped his tit off. So I didn't understand like why he didn't just do that to her. I don't know.
The
weird.
protocol says he can't do it to females.
That makes sense actually. Programmed Camp Purple Nerf.
They're not married, so he can't beat her.
Oh my god.
It was the 70s, man.
Remind me to tell you a story off air about Purple Nurples. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. So Chuck, out of 10, what do you give this movie?
All right, is this an alien movie? Yeah, this is literally an alien movie. This is one of the few movies. Yeah, this is one of the few movies where we had the movie before we had the comic. I'm very curious to see what the comics. Obviously, they build on the lore, and I know that as we progress through this, the magic very much gets lost because they just start going super hard into like the
action
aspect of it and building the lore, and it gets very convoluted after a while, and there's so much that it can do and all that stuff. But I think in a capsule, this is phenomenal. This is like a great standalone movie that I don't think needed a sequel. I'm gonna say, man, the special effects bring it down for me a little bit though. I'm gonna say 8.4. Like I still like this movie. I will happily watch this movie again with people. Like, it's not my favorite of this type of genre. I'll say that. When we're looking at Terminator and Predator and those movies, but I think for like a sci-fi horror movie, this is really, really good.
Yeah. Ron?
So it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, am I in a hurry to watch it again? Not really. But would I watch it again? Sure. Like if it comes up and like somebody's like, "Oh, I've never seen Alien," I'd be like, let's put it on. Let's watch it. A lot of this plot itself didn't make much sense of anything. Although I guess we did get a new shirt idea out of it, so that's kind of a plus. But like it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it was interesting. There were interesting parts to it, and some of the stuff was really fun. I'm gonna give it a 6.23. What about you, Joey?
I'm kind of right there on the same boat you are. This movie is really enjoyable. Said at the top of the episode. It is a wonderful episode or wonderful movie that, kind of starts off a huge franchise. But like I said earlier, dialogue was shitty, plot questionable at times. The acting was fine, sort of. Like there was some bad acting in this, but all in all, like it's still a wonderful movie. Just like both of you, like I would not be discouraged from watching this again. I don't know when I'm going to watch it again, but I'm not running out to watch this immediately all over again. I mean, we've got this is also a franchise that's still coming out. We've got a new Alien movie coming out later this year, which I don't know
really?
if it's Alien Romulus. I don't know if it's a prequel to this or a sequel to Covenant. I don't know. I think Covenant's a prequel.
Covenant was a prequel because Covenant links Prometheus to the main canon. Right. Yeah.
I haven't watched any of them, so I don't know.
I don't know if
Prometheus was interesting.
Is in the whole thing.
I think
Romulus is one of the kings of Rome, I believe.
Was he the one that wanted to Star Trek, a horse or something?
No, I think there was like the twins, like Romulus and Remus. Heard it in a movie once. That's a throwback to Dungeons and Dragons, or not Dungeons and Dragons. What the fuck was that movie that we watched? Double Dragon. There we go. I knew it had dragons in it. When the Shadow Dude's talking about.
Apparently, new Dungeons and Double Dragons video game coming out.
What? Is it a side scroller or arcade style side scroller? Because if it is, that'd be kind of cool. As long as they only charge like $10 for it.
Yeah, doubt it. They're doing a lot of like 8-bit arcade style games.
Sure, and they're doing some remakes that they're charging full price for.
Well, sure.
Like remastered, but it's just an old game.
Yeah, Ron, artists want to get paid. What's wrong with that? Huh?
Most of the artist tomatoes are probably dead.
No, they're like...
Anyway.
Anywho,
They're
Joey, what'd you give
revamping.
it?
They're revamping them. Anyway, what?
I gave this a 6.45. It's an enjoyable movie, and I have no issue whatsoever watching it again. But I don't know if I'll, like I said, don't know if I'll watch it anytime soon.
But that's interesting because I don't think I liked it nearly as much as you two, but I still ranked it higher. That's interesting.
You did rank it higher.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't think I liked this movie nearly as much.
I don't think Chuck knows how the ranking system works.
I know how the ranking system works, but often I'm just like,
movies.
I'm off. I don't know. A lot of time I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just like everything in a vacuum. I also forget what I give most movies prior to this, so
I even gave you a whole list of what you gave movies.
Do you think I'm going to pull that up? I can barely get this shit working on my computer with nothing open on it.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with our combined score, we've got a total of 7.03, which drops it in at number 32, just behind Tales from the Crypt with a 7.05. And just above Batman Begins with a 6.97.
That's a decent spot. I think that's a fair spot for it to be in. Yeah,
it's upper middle. Actually, it's really like the upper.
I mean,
half,
we have to remember this is like an old ass movie, and it is in some good contender spot. So I think that's fair. I think it's a perfectly great, healthy spot for it.
Like, I'm just looking at the list here. We've got a few older ones ahead of it. Like, I mean, Tales from the Crypt for one of them is ahead of it. But
yeah, but that, to be fair, Tales of the Crypt only had 2 votes, and I was not a part of that. So
I think you should watch that. I think you might actually enjoy it.
I do like Bordello of Blood, but that's about it.
So this Tales from the Crypt, it has a name of those, but it's its own separate thing. It's an anthology movie.
Oh, that's a shame.
You don't like anthologies.
I don't, and I also just really only like Bordello of Blood. It's a very good movie if you've never seen it. It's on Comedy Central.
It's on the list. Just give you a heads up. Yes. It's on the list.
Nipples, yes.
So Chuck, where can they find you out there, buddy?
I don't know, man. I just fucking work here.
You heard it here. He doesn't know where you can find him. All right.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Kicked Out of the Hood, No Being Kicked. You can follow my hobby page, Kicked Hobby. At time of release, I may be going to Connecticut to play some Blood and Plunder, which will be really exciting. So,
when are we going to hear some new episodes of
Showdown? Talk to your fucking boss. I was supposed. I
would talk to him, but he doesn't respond.
Yeah, I'm aware. He leaves me on red too. All right. I was supposed to actually be done by 8:00 tonight to go record the last few episodes of Late 8 Showdown, and he canceled on me so he could do a Star Wars Unlimited trading card game draft tonight, seal draft. So, and he was the one who picked Wednesday.
That son of a bitch.
At this point, X-Paxis is going to get a refund, I think, because this is just getting ridiculous. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Ron, where can they find you?
Ronald?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game, and you can find me right here where this wonderful podcast is sold.
Hey,
Joey?
You guys can find the show on Instagram and Threads at Comic Book Rundown. You can email us comicbookrundown@gmail.com. Rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice. If you do, we'll read it on an upcoming episode. We have merch over on Redbubble and TeePublic with maybe new merch coming soon. We'll see.
I'm working on it. Working on it.
And our song was done by Cam. So our next movie, I'm actually kind of excited for this one. It's Popeye from 1980.
Hey.
Wow, I've never seen this movie, so I'm interested because
it is
quite the fever dream.
It's something, man.
And of course, starring Robin Williams, correct?
Correct.
And who plays Olive Oil?
The lady from
right?
Yeah. Yep.
From The Shining?
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually a really good cast. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I regularly bring this up to my students. I was like, you guys know that there's a live action Popeye movie starring Robin Williams? And they're all like, who the fuck is Robin Williams? And I'm just like, oh, okay. To be fair, most of them weren't alive when he was popular.
So sure, but so what you do is you take a bar and you put it across the door to your room, and then
don't
just
let them leave.
keep the stoves running without the things being lit.
Here's the thing. If they don't know Spider-Man, why am I going to expect them to know Robin Williams?
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, head over to patreon.com/professional casuals. $1. Oh, no, fuck a $1. 301 tier. That's where you want to go to support the channel. Plug in the beginning. Pay Joey specifically. Or just send Joey money in the mail. Cash.
Sure, this is his address. You ready? I love how everybody
I thought you were going to just end the show.
Anyway. That's why I thought he was going to do it too, but
yeah.
Why don't you Scooby-Doo us out there, Chuck?
All right.
Bye, everybody.
What the fuck?
He's still going.